persons in the streets
Yeah.
playing with dye, with red dye, uh, and lots of water, and those things that make you look colorful. Yeah, I put on my shirt already so that if they spill it on me, it wouldn't show.
It's good to wear a white shirt, man.
Well, if you wear a white shirt, then it's gonna show.
They
It's,
might have.
it's
They
gonna
might.
have dye all over.
Have.
Yeah, we saw that today with persons in white. And tomorrow you're gonna see. Tomorrow, let me see what I'll wear. I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna wear a white shirt tomorrow. Maybe a white T-shirt just in case.
Yeah, they wear a white shirt, they might spare you. So no, it's too
They
close.
might spear. No, they like it when you white. When you have a white shirt. Then they use more dye on you, so that it's more visible. But it's Bible Day tomorrow. It's a festival where I think it's a Hindu culture. I think
Mhm.
our Indian heritage, East Indian heritage, takes over tomorrow and um, play the Pagua game. But it's also gonna have lots of good food.
Where I never see the food. Where
Yeah, tomorrow is the seven curry day.
seven curries?
Seven curry, yeah, seven different curries. Yeah.
Wait a minute, I only know one curry.
Okay, then you have to be in Guyana. Seven curry.
What type? What do you mean seven curries?
I know. I,
Seven different type of curries?
seven different types of curry. Yes, we had a feast last night. It's all vegetarian.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, we had it last night, and we were saying, boy, if Dr. Richard was only here, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all tasty. We went to this is not an ad for the facility, but we went to Grand Coastal Inn.
What is that?
It's a hotel and a restaurant, Grand Coastal Inn on the East Coast, and the food is very good there. When you eat the food, it tastes like if your mother cooked it, home cooked food.
Oh wow. Let me write the name of that one there.
Yeah,
Grand Coastal.
check it out, Grand Coastal Inn. When you eat there, there's no other place that the food tastes like Grand Coastal. It's really good, really good. So we went there last night. The staff and I we went and we sat and had some nice seven curry.
Do they always have that, or just because of the holidays?
Well, they would have it I think once a week.
Oh,
A week they would have it, but it was grand yesterday. They had all kind of things there, man. They had seven curry. Then they had the vermicelli.
oh, vermicelli.
That's vermicelli. They had sweet mithai, the dessert stuff like that, and they had some nice dal, Dr. Richard. I mean, it was really, really tasty. If you taste this dal, you might want to carry it back with you.
What?
Yeah. So the dal was one of the curry, and then they had chana
China.
curry, garbanzo beans, chana curry. They had mango curry.
Oh man, don't tell me
Yeah,
more.
mango curry. They had kalaloo.
Kalaloo.
Yeah, or like a spinach type of kalaloo, right? They had that. They had
So that's part of the seven.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, that's pretty neat.
yeah. They had what else they had? They had pumpkin curry,
Oh wow,
pumpkin curry.
that's a different one there.
Yeah, man, it was really good. It was really interesting. So you take a little bit of each one, and you fill your plate, and you
You
sit
blend
down
it.
and you have. And the bad thing is that when you finish eating, if your belly's not full, you go back and get more again.
Oh, it's all you can eat.
All you can eat.
What?
Yeah, all you can eat.
That
So
means they have a lot of curry.
it's a lot of curry. I mean,
Oh wow.
it's a lot of food. And I mean, there were lots of people there partaking. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, it was really really tasty, and we sat and we ate and we talked, and um, you were sitting there talking,
Mm.
hoping that you would get hungry again, you know.
Oh, they don't kick you out.
No, they don't kick you out, but they expect that when you finish, you leave.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they want to service more people, you know.
Yeah, but they have enough room for many persons. You know, lots of people there can go and eat, and then they have expanded places. You can go.
Excuse me.
But we had a good time. It was really tasty and it was delicious.
Wow. I like. I bet the air, the smell in the air was interesting, man.
Yeah, it was spicy.
Mm.
Yeah, spicy. They also had achar.
Oh wow.
Yeah, mango achar was there.
I haven't had that one in a long time.
They had pulori.
The there?
Yeah, pulori with sour.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, all you can eat Polari?
yeah, all you can eat.
What? I could see Nitty would love that. I mean, every time I bring Polari, we so happen together. She never have enough of it.
Yeah, I thought of her last night with that pulori indeed.
Yeah, my goodness.
Yeah, but it was really tasty. So tomorrow is going to be Seven Curry Day.
Again, and they're gonna have the same thing again.
Well, no, well, it actually will. It is made tomorrow as part of the celebration.
Oh, so they still have more stuff.
Well, not the hotel, not the restaurant. I'm talking about families.
I got you. Guys. It got me twisted up here with all this curry.
You got to visit home. You gotta go together. It was really tasty, and I think that you would have loved it. I think
Oh
that
yeah, definitely, and it's all vegetarian.
all vegetarian,
That's nice.
all vegetarian. Well, of course they had other foods there for
Oh,
pleasure.
I know. It's good. I mean, you have a variety of things.
Yeah, yeah, but it was really good. So,
Nice.
so that is the Pagua weekend. It's a short week because Friday is a holiday. Then it's a long weekend. We play Pagua, and then next week is back to work again.
You know, what's the significance of the Padua? I mean, I'm trying to figure out. Uh,
It is part of the cultural celebration. It has to do with the Hindu religion
mhm.
and and other aspects of the religion. So it could be investigated, or it could be Googled. You could see what it means, and it's not only Guyana that celebrates it. It's,
Really?
it's celebrated pretty much all over the world in the Hindu community. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Pretty
it's,
nice.
it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Yeah. So you know what happened to me last night, right? I ate so much that I could only eat so much because I remember my stomach shrank, right? So
Oh man.
so I really couldn't eat too much of the food last night. I couldn't.
That's how many days now after the fast?
Oh, that was I broke the fast since it's
Last week?
over a week, yeah.
Yeah,
So a week, but you can never eat back the same amount of food.
I know because your stomach already shrunk,
Yeah, the stomach
and
guts.
the shrunken stomach, and the large amount of food. You could hurt yourself.
Well, you could hurt yourself. Yeah, you could. You could really hurt yourself because your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
And they got you all with 7 curries, not just one curry.
They're dazzling your eyes with all that food, and you see people
Uh,
going there. You see people going there and they're coming back with plates that are like mountains.
wow. Oh my.
And you see,
So you can eat the curry with the rice, right? They have what sort of rice?
there is rice. There are two different types of rice. There's a white rice, and then there's another like a Spanish type of rice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they also had puri.
What?
Yeah, puri. And believe it or not, I could have only eaten
Half?
no, not even half.
Oh, the puree is big then.
No, I mean it's made and it's folded over, it's wrapped over,
Oh.
right? So it looks like it's a very good sized puri, right? But they cut it in half, and because they don't want anybody to waste it, which I agree.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, and then I could have only eaten a fraction of that half. When I say fraction, I mean I cut off thin slices about quarter of an inch in width.
No.
I did 3 of those, and that's all I could have had. Yeah, couldn't take
So,
any.
so you couldn't take none on the go. You can't take it out.
No, 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 no. You're not really allowed to take it out.
No.
It's not at least. I don't think that's the policy. When you can eat like that, if you order and you pay,
Mm.
you can take out. But when it's all you can eat self service, I don't think you can take it out.
Yeah, it's everywhere like that.
Yeah, you can eat all you want while you're there, but you can't take it home. But I mean, there are lots of people there eating.
Yeah, Grand Coastal Inn.
And Costa Rica.
So is this? I know it's Seven Curry. They don't have this. I think I asked this question already because
They have it in a week. They have it once a week, I think.
once. Oh, okay. So
They have curry day.
once I come there, I
Yeah,
might
so you'll be able to
enjoy the curry there.
yeah, yeah.
That was good. That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's on a Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday curry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was yesterday, right?
Yesterday, man. So
Yeah.
we went there last night after work.
Wow. Who you went?
Well, myself and the staff, and
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I
So
know, yeah, I should have emailed me something, man.
well, we don't want to get your appetite going. You
No, emailed me the thing. We could
know.
email the curry and all that stuff, you
Well, soon enough you might be able to just zap it over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's coming next.
Yeah, you might be able to just take a picture and zap it over, and the food will come to life when you receive it. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, might
It's
what happen.
it's good. So that's nice. You got a good vegetarian spot of stuff there.
Yeah, it's the vegetarian lifestyle. It's I admire the vegetarian lifestyle. I think it's what we should be.
Yeah.
It is very good for the digestive system.
Hmm.
Um, the food is pretty much live food or lively.
Right.
There's nothing that is dead except that it is cooked.
Hmm.
And, the body system processes that much faster than if it was animal based. It's less stress on the digestive system,
It is.
and the food is more tasty and nutritious.
Yeah.
The food actually nourishes your body. I think when you eat as a vegetarian, you're nourished more than when you eat as a non-vegetarian.
Yeah. It's true.
The other thing is that when you go to places that prepare vegetarian foods, the odor is different. There's not the same odor of the food. It smells different.
Yeah, you don't smell the rancor, like
No, you don't.
yeah.
You don't. You don't smell any of that stuff. So it kind of it is a more pleasant atmosphere.
And the people are more pleasant too. They don't have the animalistic
No,
skepticism.
you know what is funny? It's true because when you look at what happens around places like that,
Mm,
the temperament, the people's attitude, and the behavior, it's a lot calmer than those who are animal based.
yeah.
It's something that needs to be investigated because when like we were there were probably what, over 150 people there.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and people kept coming. And you can't even hear voices hardly.
So it's all vegetarian.
They had some food that was not vegetarian for those who are not straight vegetarians,
Mm.
but it wasn't. I think it was just chicken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just some pieces of chicken, something like that.
Mm.
But that's. I mean, I didn't look at but that's what I saw. But maybe there were more. But the majority of the food, it was all separated. It wasn't same in the same place.
Yeah.
The animal food was separated from the vegetarian food, which is a good thing.
Yeah. You don't get cross contamination.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. So when you come to Guyana, At least there's one place I know you would like to go and visit,
Yeah, man, I would love to
and
enjoy it.
you'd like to go and eat there. And the good thing about that place too is that it's open. When I say open, I mean it's not enclosed. There's an area that is enclosed, but you can sit in the open, and it's right off the seawall, so you're getting nice fresh
For
air.
sure.
Yeah,
Nice. Very nice. Very
it's
nice.
not far from the seawall, so you get fresh air.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's one place to visit, man.
yeah. So that's last night, but today we want to finish up and get get past the fasting conversation that we were having, and the breaking of the fast and the benefits of fasting and detoxifying and deworming.
Hmm.
I think that that persons who are contemplating a fast should consider holistic fasting. When I say holistic fasting, I mean not missing a meal, not taking breakfast in the morning, skipping lunch and eating dinner, fasting, fasting for the entire day,
Hmm.
24 hours, and detoxifying, deworming, because we're finding that, and you're finding it too, we're finding that there's so many persons who are having serious parasitical infection or infestation, lots of worms. I actually, and I'm not exaggerating, I actually saw 14 different worms in one person just this week. And it was mind-boggling because two of the worms that were listed were worms I'd never seen before. I've never seen the description of those worms before. I can
Hmm.
send you one of them so you can look at it, but it's not the one that you're responding to me on, it's the one below that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one below that, which is a worm that I had never seen. I'd never seen
Right.
it,
Oh.
So I don't know. I mean, there might be more species. I'm quite sure there are more species that we have not seen that are existing. But this one here, number 408,
Yeah, I've seen it.
that one I had never seen. I don't think you even recognize that to be a parasite. the name of it, the name of it doesn't look like it's a worm, but when I checked it out, because I'd never seen it. When I saw it and I checked it out, it's a worm.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought the one you highlighted was the one you referred.
No, 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 no. I mentioned this is the one that's below the one, that one, right? But
Oh, 408.
you didn't really look at it. But
I didn't look at it really.
yeah, it was mind-boggling to see that there are more. I mean, we've seen many of the same ones we saw all the time, but then obviously there are several more that exist.
There's a bunch of them that we don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
there are tons of them, and it makes me as you send this thing to me yesterday. I was thinking. I'm saying to myself, look, what if all of these different pathologies that people are experiencing, different diseases, right, are just the result of parasitic infections gone array. You know what I mean? Like they've done. And I don't know if you've seen it, but they've done. They did this thing with taking the human body, right? People have already passed away, and instead of burying them, what they did, and they had a whole lot of them, they just let the body go through the regular phase of decay,
mm,
and then what they do from day to day and sometimes from moment to moment is to monitor the changes that's occurring in the decaying process. And doing that and then documenting it and taking video
picture.
and yeah, pictures and things like that, so that you can actually see exactly what,
The phases.
right, the different phases. You can tell. I mean, it's very helpful, like for um,
research and
right, for research and for individuals who are like pathologists,
mm,
especially in forensic pathology and things like that, where you can see exactly what process the the body actually goes through, not being not being preserved with with other things, but just
mm,
naturally, so that you can look and see exactly what microorganisms appear, when they appear, where the worms coming from. They're actually, I mean, worms that are in your body. Once the body is deceased, those worms are still alive, believe it or not.
oh, they don't die.
You know,
They keep on eating, they keep on messing, and they keep on
right?
moving.
Because there's food in the organs and in the blood itself, and they manifest. And then eventually, there's a reason why at times bodies just left like that, they just implode.
Yeah,
Explode. I should say, not implode. Some do implode, some explode. You know, uh, and you can see all of the different microorganisms and parasites just there. You know, in the cavity of the body.
yeah.
Some appear earlier, some appear much later. And there are different sequences and phases. So it's interesting, and why I'm saying this is that what if most of these diseases that we're seeing is because of parasitic infections,
Yeah.
and the parasitic infections that have gone untreated are giving us these different pathologies that we're seeing. It's just a thought.
It is very it's very interesting to look at that concept because when you think of it, these worms or parasites continue to manifest even in the death of the human,
Hmm.
and it is mind-boggling to understand that when the human dies, why is it that they don't die?
Yeah.
You know, they continue to live on and multiply and manifest and lay eggs and everything. And as a matter of
Right.
fact, they continue to consume the dead flesh.
Right. They eat it. I mean, once there's nutrition there, they survive. You know.
You would think that because there is no oxygen in the body anymore
Hmm.
and it's done, it's finished, that whatever toxemia exists in the body will toxify the worms and kill them. You would think that would happen, but it doesn't.
Yeah, because a lot of these worms and a lot of these parasites, they are existing in anaerobic condition without oxygen.
Yeah,
You know, and believe it or not, you know, as you know, the inside of our body, there's no light. It's dark.
yeah, yeah,
You know, it's dark, and that's the reason why at times when they do take and they put in, they go and do a lot of exploratory observation with lights, those very same halogen lights and different lights, they can create cancer because normally all these things, these chemical reactions, and all the things that exist in our body, there's no light in there. The only light that we are actually allowing in our body is in the eye, and that's only in that area, that compartment.
hmm
You know, so these
yeah.
things are existing in the dark. You know, and they're eating with hardly any oxygen and things like that. Just they're living. They're living.
It's interesting. It's interesting to think of that philosophy
Hmm.
when you consider the fact that the, the dark, the dull or the dark areas in the body, you wonder if the worms are more prominent there. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, it's all dark, but for instance, there are the liver. The liver is dark in itself,
Hmm.
and the worms, man, they're pretty much in numbers at the liver. I saw that up to today.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of them go. a lot of these worms have a routine. They go either to the liver, to the lungs, the bladder. Some of them go to the bladder. So
The gallbladder.
yeah, and the urinary bladder too.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times for them, to procreate, you have to urinate or defecate. So they go to your intestines, things like that, colon. So that once you defecate, the eggs, they manifest themselves and they
Yeah.
grow. Using another host, either a snail or some other insect or so forth, and they grow and they perpetuate. So the life cycle is interesting. It's very.
Well, if you ever looked into a septic tank,
Oh boy, yeah. There's a lot of bacteria there, and everybody's there.
parasitic haven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you defecate and it goes into a septic tank, that is matter that your body refused, that they're accepting and living off of it.
That's right. And then they use it and utilize it, and in turn, they excrete nitrogenous waste as nitrogen, which is very helpful to the plants. So that's why.
That's why potatoes grow
That's
so
why a
fast.
lot of things grow abundantly. You know,
Yeah.
in some countries they were having problems though because they were using fecal matter as fertilizer, which is it has all those organisms in it, and things grow. It really grows.
But it happens in China.
However, some like flesh eating bacteria, it's there too.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be careful with that. So that's the danger of using uh, you know fecal matter you know in any creature, from any creature, as I said. Even sometimes animals, I mean cows, they have they were able to detect uh, the mad cow disease from the fecal matter of the cows. you know and
Talking about that, I saw a little bit of news today in Guyana where there's an outbreak apparently of foot and mouth disease
oh wow.
in the schools.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's very contagious, that is.
it is.
And that's spread by feces.
Yeah, it
Fecal
is.
matter.
I just saw it this afternoon actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, and believe it or not, we see it right here on the program. We screen people and find it,
Hmm.
and it's amazing. We see the adenovirus, the foot and mouth disease. We see all this stuff,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and persons don't understand that these viruses and bacteria are contagious.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and if it's in the school system, then you're talking about a huge population there of
Yeah.
persons who are infected,
Yeah. And it goes from child to child and
child to child, to teacher to
teacher. Yeah.
family to parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw that this afternoon, and
Hmm.
I think the health ministry is doing something there with that, but it's not now that it is out. It's been out.
Oh yeah.
It's just now maybe they're realizing it that it's out there.
Hmm.
We see it. I mean, we see it. I saw it. I see it here all the time. I saw
Yeah.
it last week.
I
I
saw
saw
it
it before.
many times.
So
Yeah.
it all has to do with a lot of it with hygiene. Persons are not sanitizing themselves properly. They're not washing their hands. They're transmitting all
It's
sorts of stuff. And
yeah.
when they're preparing, the persons who prepare foods that sell to the children,
Yeah.
and then they sell the foods at the schools to the children. So you don't know, not to say that anyone is guilty of that, but you don't know if they have any facilities where they wash their hands, if they've been
Yeah.
washing their hands, if they've been sanitizing the areas properly. There's so many factors that can contribute to those conditions that uh,
Hmm.
everyone has the responsibility of ensuring that they do their part.
Yeah, it's childhood diseases. These are difficult. It's a difficult area because a lot of times, especially when you're teaching, you're dealing with kids and anywhere, the kids most times the kids are sick. A lot of kids are sick, and adenovirus. you know, they come
But
hug you and they kiss you, and I mean, what are you gonna do? So no, don't touch me.
yeah, or they offer you something to eat, and they hope it's in the same hand it's dirty, and you don't want to refuse it.
No, you don't. So it's very prevalent. And I can always tell. You know, I can tell when I look at some parents and teachers. I always know exactly. I may not know what profession they may be having or whatever, but you can tell whether or not they're around kids because
Yeah,
you tend to see, the adenovirus.
I normally say children. I don't say kids.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Yeah,
you know, and you always see in the mix of it all Kingella Kingay and all the different
yeah,
things. So, uh, you know, you tell people, hey, you're around a lot of kids because you have this and that. So, oh
mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
So what do you do? I'm a teacher. So, okay, it's rough because these things they are adhere to surfaces. They're fomites, things like that. You touch this, it gets they're they got colds and they touch everything, and you gotta touch all these things too. You gotta you sit in the seat, cold. You see you get a picture. So
Yeah,
it's very difficult to disengage from that environment, especially when you're dealing with kids, with children, I should say.
yeah, but I hope that it doesn't become an epidemic because
No, you don't. That don't need to be.
that's a serious thing because you can have a lot of sick people, a lot
Yeah.
of diarrhea, a lot of vomiting, a lot of
Mhm.
everything. You know.
It's self-limited, so yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
that was just today, so that this afternoon after work too. So I hope it's just something that is could be taken care of very quickly because
Mm,
a lot of children are exposed. You know. Yep. So getting back to the fasting and the breaking of the fast, many persons make the error or make the mistake of breaking a fast with the wrong foods. I remember some time ago when we were dealing with the study of fasting, um, we were told that when you break the fast, or when you're breaking the fast, you break it with something warm, like a warm cup of tea or a warm cup of water, or something like that, and not a whole cup either. You break it with enough to sort of retrain the digestive system
hmm
to begin to accept something of some sort coming down into the stomach that needs to be processed through the
right.
digestive system. So
hmm
when you fast continuously for a period of time, for instance, a week, just a simple 1 week, your body system would not have been receiving anything if you fast without foods. Your body system would not have been receiving anything, maybe but some water, uh, to process, to go through the digestive system, to be able to satisfy that need that is required. So what people do, many persons, they break the fast with a meal, and sometimes it's a heavy meal. It's a meal that they've been thinking about, maybe a chicken fried rice, a curry chicken, protein curry, betanji, things that will shock the system again. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it had not been accustomed processing that heavy load for 1 week.
hmm
So you actually could create issues in the digestive system
Yeah, it's true.
because the stomach would have been shrunken or gotten smaller.
hmm
Number one, number two, because look, it's 1 week ago I broke the fast,
hmm
and I cannot consume the amount of food that I used to consume. Not that it was much, but I cannot consume the same amount of food even today.
Yeah.
Because I feel that the the stomach filling. You actually feel it filling up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's when you look at the food that you had, it's nothing compared to what you used to have. So you have to be careful with how we break the fast and what we use to break the fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggest normally maybe a small cup of soup,
Yeah. Yeah.
not soup that is loaded with the, the provisions or the regular things that you put inside, cow heel and all that stuff, chicken foot. None of that. You want to break the fast with a cup of soup that may have had maybe some callaloo inside that you blend up,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some light provision like the edo, just a piece of edo that you would blend also in the soup after you would have made it, so that you will have something in the stomach, in the digestive system, that's not too light or too heavy, and you're actually retraining the stomach to be able to handle foods again that contain particles and so on.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So you have to be very gentle in how you break the fast.
You're priming the system again.
You have to reprime the system. It's almost like when you shut your car down for a month.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You just can't go and start the car and just drive it off. You can't do that. You know. As a matter of fact, with my car, what I do normally when I'm on extensive periods where I don't drive it, uh, when I start it, I don't start it up right away. I kind of crank, just start it a little. You just turn the key and allow it to turn, and then you stop it, so that you kind of priming the car back, so that you can lubricate the valves, allow the oil to lubricate the system,
Mm-hmm.
so that when you do start it, you wouldn't hear any knocking or you wouldn't shock the system, so that because they're dry, they're drained.
Mm-hmm.
See, all of the oil is drained down, so now you have to kind of prime it back so that you can lubricate the parts.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happens with your digestive system. You basically have to prime it so that they can expect the food it's been deprived of
Mm-hmm.
coming, but in a small quantity first,
Yeah.
and then you gradually would increase it as you go along. You see, so most persons when they go on a fast and they would have lost weight, they would have gotten smaller and so on. When they break the fast, if they break it incorrectly, they have digestive problems. They put on back a lot of weight, and they
Mm-hmm.
say, "Well, what's the sense of fasting? Because I didn't lose any weight. I only lost it during the fast, but I gained it back." But it's how you break the fast.
Yeah.
And then many persons who are fasting do not cleanse. They don't cleanse. You
Mm-hmm.
see, they don't deworm. Because remember, these worms are used to having food coming every day, and all of a sudden they've got to feed on what's already in there.
Yep.
So what you do, you flush them out. You deworm and detox and allow the body system to purge of the matter that has been stored, including the parasites that's been stored in there and working and living in there.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so there is a method to breaking a fast that needs to be taught or mentioned more, so people can understand that if you want to maintain the good health that you would have achieved from fasting, um, these are simple things that you do, that we're talking about here today, because you can damage yourself if you go do the wrong thing.
Yeah. I think I may have told you already.
Right, yeah, with the guy,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then another friend of ours, she was fasting, and I think it was 5 days or something like that, and she broke it wrong, and she did exactly what you say you shouldn't do. She went and ate a full meal and ended up in the hospital.
yeah, well, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
she's fortunate that she could have walked out of the hospital, because you could create some serious issues in your digestive system.
yeah. So it's something to be taken very seriously. When you turn something off, there's a way that you gotta turn it back on.
Exactly.
that you gotta follow.
Exactly. So that is a key factor in breaking the fast, and then you also want to understand that the length of time that you were on the fast should almost be the length of time that you break the fast.
Yeah,
You
that's a
gradually
very important point too.
you gradually retrain the system to handle the type of foods and the amount of foods that you did before you fast. You gradually teach the system to accept it back again.
Hmm.
If you fast for 3 weeks, then it should take you at least 3 weeks to really get back into healthy foods. Don't eat as much.
Hmm.
Gradually tune the system to accept and process. Because your entire body system changes when you go into a deep fast. Even your elimination changes. The amount of times you go to the toilet, it all changes.
Yeah.
You see, so you want to really, not rush into changing and breaking and getting back into the old habits so quickly. But fasting is a beautiful thing. It can actually, fasting can heal you. It can heal you of many things, including gastric ulcers.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you think of it, if you have a gastric ulcer and you don't eat and you're fasting, generally fasting where you're not getting hungry, because there's a difference between fasting and starvation.
Mhm.
You know, because when you're fasting, you actually program your entire state. We talk about that:
Mhm.
mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. It's all programmed and it's worked in sync. It doesn't throw off one or the other. They all work in synchronization with each other.
Mhm.
Versus a starvation situation, you know, the fasting that we're talking about here is like a programmed process where the body is programmed to not have foods for a certain amount of time.
And it's voluntarily, right?
Yes, of course, it's voluntary.
Yeah.
So the system actually prepares for that and accepts it and the body just goes through it because it's a voluntary situation where you deciding that I want to cleanse, I want to pray and fast, or I want to
Mhm.
fast because uh, I just want to get the body to rest, the organs to rest, and that is the other factor. When you fast, you rest the organs.
Mhm.
You actually are rejuvenating the organs
Yeah.
by allowing them to eliminate the toxic waste that you know may have interfered with their function. Uh, you're actually like regenerating new cells because you're shedding the old, you know, and the body goes through the phase of rejuvenation.
You reset. You reset everything.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
It's just that we don't have an institution where we can monitor people on a daily basis. But I would, if I had an institution where, and it's too much for me to do at this time. I really wanted to do it, but time got away with me and studies and all that. But uh, if I had an institution where we could take people in, all those people with those cancers, I'd put them on fast, and you monitor them in the institution, and you make sure that they're not malnourished, and that the body goes through the cleansing process and the elimination process and the deworming process. And I am certain that many persons will be healed by a fast, by allowing the body to eliminate and rejuvenate.
Yeah. Some believe it or not, some countries it's not voluntarily, but they put the whole nation on a fast. There's certain foods are not allowed in there. Food is hard to come by, and in those countries, believe it or not, the cancer rates are low, obesity is low. It's not voluntarily, but you know, some countries, they don't provide for the citizens. They don't have access to a whole lot of food and things like that. So the whole country's on a fast. If you don't have certain foods at times, no rice and this and that. I'm thinking about Cuba actually, and today, a lot of those people in Cuba and some other countries too, they don't have as many illnesses as we do because of the whole population. A lot of them, are like somebody said. I was reading something that says how do people in Europe knows an American from everybody else? The ones that are fat, you know.
Well, Dr. Richard, I want to tell you that we have a lot of obese people in Guyana.
Well, that's the thing. That means affluence, wealth. The country is doing pretty good. When that condition exists, that means people are having access to a lot of food. You know,
And we have a lot of fast foods here now.
and yeah, the Western diet is doing excellent in in a country where people used to when you talk about lunch, somebody bring you home cooked meal.
Somebody bring you a flask or a basket with food in it,
Yeah, yeah. Now you can go to Kentucky Fried
Kentucky or a Burger King
Burger King.
or churches or one of those fast food places and a pizza,
Hmm.
or Domino's Pizza or somebody where you just get something fast.
So you see now the problem with that affluence of and abundance of access to food comes all the diseases
Oh yeah,
associated with it.
yeah.
So now in Guyana, I knew when I was growing up, it was hardly cancer was not something you hear common in Guyana.
When you heard of somebody who died of cancer, you knew who that person was.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and where they went.
yeah.
Most of the time, people came back in those conditions. You know,
We never hardly had that in the 70s. No, I
yeah.
don't remember that. Don't remember too
Oh,
much of cancer at all. No.
no, no, no. It was you would hear it, but the person was overseas or somewhere else, and they come back home. You know, and even sometimes people get better when they come back home because they don't have access to the food to eat the natural and organic grown stuff,
Yeah.
and they get better.
I am a firm belief that death truly begins in the colon.
It is. It is.
We dig our graves with our teeth and we eat ourselves into our graves.
But if you go, what you're saying is God's absolute truth because where did death begin? At the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Thou shalt not eat from the day thou eat it. Thou shalt surely die.
Hmm.
It has. You see what they were doing? Eating. They ate something, and that's what killed
Yeah.
them. So, this is where we are right now. You know, we eating ourselves to death. You know, we eating ourselves to death. And
How can we reverse that? And, we are working hard to try to get people to overcome the onslaught of cancer and heart disease and blood sugar problems, and you know we're trying hard to help them to understand that, and we have so much resistance from the people who are sick, because they're saying, "Well, what am I going to eat? If you take all of this away from me, what am I going to eat?" It's not that we're taking it away from you. It's your body saying to you that you should avoid these things because it's causing you to be sick. And a phrase that I use all the time with them so they can understand is that you cannot keep doing the same thing and expect to get different results. You can't. If you keep doing the same thing all the time, you're going to get the same results. If you keep eating and drinking the same things that are getting you sick, how in the world do you expect to eat the same things and get you better? It doesn't work. You're not going to get well. You're not. It's for your own good. You cannot keep eating foods that are making you hypertensive or diabetic or causing you to have cancer and expect that the cancers are going to go away or the diabetes or hypertension will go down. It wouldn't happen. It
no,
wouldn't happen. You cannot keep doing the same things that are getting you sick and expect that you're going to get well.
no, 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 no.
It doesn't work.
You know, education, and then having a desire to do what is right and be known. And it's not an easy thing, but it's not that difficult either because we know the reason why things are happening, but then is to take that step to do it. And a lot of times people get to the edge of life and that to decide to be serious about it.
Sometimes it's too late.
And sometimes it's too late.
The organs are already down. They're beaten up. The cells are already destroyed.
No, it's too late. Too late.
8 minutes, Dr. Richard.
Oh, 8 minutes. Wow. Yeah, I read a statement like people always say, and I repeat it to a patient today, but it was in this very somewhat predicament where you say, you tell them that, based on what's happening to you, your DNA or your chromosomes, your body is telling you that eating these particular foods at present is what got you in the condition that you're in, and is going to make it even worse if you continue to eat it. So you need to stay away from them. And the question was that, well, what do I do for protein? And that's always the question. I knew the question would come because it's a common question. What do you do for protein? And I was reading, uh, this weekend where um, um, a statement was made from one of the books I was reading that says the original diet that was given to man and added to it grains, which is fruits, vegetables, and grains, are sufficient for the sustenance of the body,
Hmm.
right? And I'm saying to myself, well, wait a minute. Okay, if that statement is true, so you get fruits and you get vegetables. Vegetables have, a lot of minerals and things like that, and the fruits have carbohydrates, sugars, and things like that, plus other enzymes and things like that that's needed. And the vegetables have it too. What does the grains provide? Well, I went and I looked into it, and it's not the first time I did it, but I looked into it. And you know what the grains provide? Protein.
Yeah.
Protein. So you get a balanced things. I mean, and there's so many. There's over 21 different grains. They're grains that I didn't even heard of, and all they do is provide protein. And what the proteins that they provide, and the minerals that they provide, and some of the enzymes that they provide, is to help with heart disease, cancers, diabetes, a lot of the chronic diseases. And a lot of us, we're not eating those grains. That's why a lot of us are deficient in the elements that are needed to sustain life, you know. So we're thinking that the only source that we can get protein from is animal. And that's
Where the question remains, though, where do some of the animals get their protein from who does not eat flesh? Where are they getting the protein from?
yeah,
Where does the deer get its protein?
exactly. The cow,
Where does the turtle get its protein?
the grass,
Where does the cow get its?
grass.
Look at the size of a cow or an ox,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's no question
Mm-hmm.
those animals are huge. If they fall on you, they'll crush you.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they getting the protein from, and what are they eating?
That's right.
And I think one of the factors that's lacking in the human intelligence is to study the life of some animals.
Yeah, yeah.
If they were to study the life of some of the animals out there,
Mm-hmm.
they will see that we don't need the flesh to get what we need.
No, 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 no.
Even the bear,
Yeah,
even when the seasons are gone for them to get the fish that they need,
mhm.
or the where do they get their proteins from?
The elephant, the biggest one.
Yeah, where do they get the protein from?
So it's true. I mean, I believe God provided everything for us. We didn't have to kill anything to sustain life. We didn't have to kill. anything, until sin. I mean, the blood and all that stuff. If you understand what I'm
Oh,
talking.
yeah.
But so for nutrition, you're correct. If we were to get a full understanding of physiology, a lot of this stuff would make sense. If we were to really study and look, because it's two competing views. One is true and one is false.
Oh, yes.
And we as human beings, we tend to stick with the false stuff, man. We get bamboozled into thinking this one way all the time.
But part of it has to do with the system that controls what they would like to see the human do.
Yeah.
The system that controls the path that they want to see the human go down. And it's clear that if we follow that, if we were to look at that path that is established for the human to follow, that is taking you down a path of disease.
Yeah, and death.
And death. See, so it's to me, for me, in my opinion, is that it's a trap that's laid out.
Yeah.
That if you follow this procedure, this process, that they know that this will be the end result.
Yeah.
You know, or you believe that the end result will be good health, longevity and all that stuff. But they know that the end result is medication, disease, hypertension, diabetes,
everything else. It's true. It's true, and that's the reason why America today is taking a different look at the whole medical establishment and chronic diseases. Because the mode of treatment is not benefiting anybody.
No.
Eventually you succumb, you die with the same stuff, but with more complications. Sometimes what kills you faster is the complications from the treatment of the chronic diseases. So people who are and there are people who, a lot of them, who are in the system, and they realize, look, even medical doctors, I've been treating this patient for the same thing for 20 years. Okay? And they're not getting any better. Hypertension, diabetes, for over 20 something years, and it's still, you can't mention cure.
Okay, Dr. Richard, we'll have to continue this the next time because time is up.
Oh.
For those of you, I want to thank you for your participation, for being involved. It's a very good, hot topic. Those of you who've been following us, you can like us on Facebook. You can go to what's the other one?
Facebook and
YouTube.
You
can like us, subscribe.
Instagram.
That way you can be alerted when we're going to be on Thursdays, and we're going to be talking about some interesting topics that can make a difference in your life. So, Dr. Richard, I want to thank you very much for the time that you put in so that we can help the humankind, the human race, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank the guys in the studio for making this program possible, and the owner of the television channel. And I want to wish all of you a happy weekend. Enjoy the festivities tomorrow, and eat some seven curry. It's healthy, it's good for you, but don't eat too much. On behalf of the Health and Wellness Clinic and Dr. Richard, I want to thank you very much. You can call us at 231-6477 for an appointment if you need one, so we can try to help you to be better. Dr. Haynes, say good night. God bless you, and so long.
Good night.